are live. Welcome everybody to our group here. It's what is it? The 20th of December, Monday. John Lavinia here with you and with some of my favorite peoples in all the universe. Good to see you, Deborah, Missy. There's Joe and Kelly. There's Ron. Hey, let's look at who else is on camera here. We've had some shy people lately, but Susan's here. Rhyme is here. Scott and Catherine. There's Ron. And do I see any other people on camera? You guys don't have your cameras on. That's okay. I'm gorgeous. Hey, Scott, with his pastoral background. Beautiful. But this product right here. Okay, so here's what we're talking about today. This is the topic of the day. I bought this on a whim. Okay, so this is a cup warming device that has a little pressure switch on the bottom for gravity. You put the cup on it and it's heavy enough, it goes ahead and it trips the switch. There's 3 settings for temperature, and it's even got a 4-hour shut off limit. If you just leave the cup there and leave or something, 4 hours, it shuts itself down. 3 temperatures. And I bought this, actually, you know what, guys? I bought this the week that we were setting up this group. This whole low-hanging system, the advanced group and all the, what we're doing here with our daily success call. So I was traveling. I was in Tampa at the time, which is actually where I'm moving. And I didn't have a microwave in the room that I was staying in. And so I was like, I don't like it when my coffee gets cold. So yeah, so I bought this, okay, because a cup of coffee could last me an hour, right? It'd be ice cold in an hour. So I bought this and now I can't live without it. I mean, this thing is on my desk all day, every day. It's being used right now. Right now it's being used. I even kept the box, obviously. So this way, when I pack, I tend to keep boxes on stuff. I like my stuff to be perfect. You know what I mean? So keep the box, and now I'm going to box it up and move it back across country. So why am I telling you this? Because you all sell coffee cups, right? Well, what about the cup warmer? So one of the things that you could do is you can go on Amazon and you can set up an associate, I think is what they call it, an associate account. I had one and then they terminated it. It was kind of weird. I had set up the associate account, basically an affiliate account, where it's your link that gets you a little commission when somebody clicks on your link and buys the thing on Amazon, whatever the thing is. And so I set up an associate account for the purpose of having an affiliate link for various books. Because you guys know I run a mastermind group, we got book study, we got this and that. And so let me monetize a little bit. Give me my 50 cents. I'll take that 50 cents, right? So I did nothing with the associate account for probably a year. And then all of a sudden I decided, you know what, I got this associate account. Let me go ahead and create a link for, I think it was Think and Grow Rich, right? Everybody go buy Think and Grow Rich. Okay, go spend $7 or whatever. I'll make my 20 cents, right? So I sold through that link, I sold, I don't know, 25 copies of the book or whatever. And immediately Amazon shut me down. And here was their reason. Here was their reason. Listen to this. The reason was because the site that I said I was promoting on, so johnlavenia.com, right? They couldn't find the affiliate link on that site. They looked at my website for John, the author, the guy with the group, right? And they couldn't find a link for the Amazon thing. Therefore, I must be doing something shady. So I just promoted a friggin' link to the group email or whatever. Like, do I have to quantify every action I take with this company? And so as some of you have had some Amazon curveballs thrown at you. Now I can always go set up another one.
We won't mention any names.
Yeah, right. I can always go set up another associate account if I'm so desperate for the 20 cents or something, but who cares? Just go buy the book, right? So that was my big Amazon associate experience. So now you know. But anyway, here's what you could do. You can go get an associate account, and assuming that you comply with whatever Amazon thinks you should comply with this week, you could go make $1 or something. It was like $20, $25 thing. In fact, I love this thing so much. I bought one for my wife. Don't tell her, okay? So she's got a cup warmer as well.
You bought it for her, so we could use it.
Yeah, don't tell her. Don't tell her. She's got a cup warmer as well, but it's not as nice as this one. This is the one she has. You actually have to press the button to turn it on, and deliberately make the choice to press the button and turn it on. Mine, as soon as you lift it off, it's off. You put the cup on, it's on again. I love it. And it's my favorite color. Black, baby. Black. I'll take any color as long as it's black. All right, what were we talking about? Welcome.
Hi, you'll take any color.
What was that, Jamie?
Black is my favorite color. I'll take any color as long as it's black.
That's right.
Like Henry Ford.
Henry Ford. That's right. what colors can I get the Model T in? Any color you want, as long as it's black. So, all right, you guys. Well, welcome to, I guess, a quick announcement. So we're going to have a 4-day week this week. Friday's Christmas Eve. So we're shutting down on Friday. So Fun Friday will be fun for you as you sit there and talk to yourself, because we're not going to be live. I guess it'll be Meditation Friday. So go sit and be quiet. But and then next week, as I think you guys already know, I am cross country traveling and we'll be living out of a suitcase. So it'll be all Karen next week, and so she'll be here with you. What else as far as announcements? I think that's it as far as announcements. I do want to welcome our brand new members. We do have several here with us. As we come into the holidays, things tend to wind down, right? Traffic and all this in terms of, on our end, on the back end with members and all the stuff we're doing in a low-hanging system. So it's kind of a, sing silent night and all that. But on your side, right, on the retail side, where you're putting these products out, I think this is last minute shopper week, right? This is it. I know my inbox is so full. Anyone who's emailed me here, just be patient, okay? Because my inbox is jammed. And so everybody's selling everything right now. So I guess that's something we could talk about since it's Monday. And I think, if you've got FBA going on, some of you are very new, you don't even have that set up yet, okay? But if you've got FBA going on, or things where you know that you could fulfill quickly, I'd say today and tomorrow is like your last shot with, Christmas anyway. Now, great news. Let's say you're brand new here. I talked to a couple of gentlemen this morning who are here for a couple of weeks. One of them was having some considerations about why he hasn't sold anything yet, right? So it's been a couple of weeks already. Okay, well, you just got here. Okay, so good news is that after Christmas, there's other stuff. People are going to buy more, right? And there's other events that you can, target people, and Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and everything else. So people have their breakthrough at different times of the year. So on one hand, yes, this is the most traffic that you'll find in terms of like people impulse buying and coffee cups, T-shirts, ornaments, whatever, right? So that's nice. On the other hand, right, you've also got your own personal timing. That's something you should consider. So not to be frantic. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But what I am telling you to do is to sort of let this time of year set the pace. In other words, let's say you're brand new here, and let's say that you have the idea that you'd like to have things up and running before 2022. That's good. I like that, right? Create a bit of urgency, because as Parkinson's law states, work expands to fill the time allowed for it. So, well, how long does it take? Well, I don't know, right? But if you create some urgency, you tighten it up, you set yourself some timelines, which I think is a better way to say deadlines, right? Because nobody's going to die over your coffee cup. I hope not. But you set yourself some timelines, and you can reduce the amount of time it takes to get stuff done because of some arbitrary, a date, right? January 1st or whatever. I mean, you pick the date. We're just setting some targets now and then setting our standards to meet those targets. If you do that during this time of year, which is an easy time for you to manufacture such a target, right? I mean, we're just making this up, right? Because you can sell 365 days a year, you can sell stuff. But since we're tightening it up now, let that set the standard moving forward. In other words, if we think of it like this, we have a football game, right? And it's the final quarter, and I don't know football, okay, so deal with this, all right, for a minute. But through the first 3 quarters of the game, or basketball or whatever, right, you've got people moving the ball, passing, tackling, doing whatever they do, to whatever degree they're doing it with a certain level of intensity. But in those final quarter or the final minutes, frantic, right? So now it's the same actions. It's the moving of the ball, it's the passing, it's the making of the goals, right? But the intensity or the standards that they hold themselves to seem to be higher when it really counts now. It's the last minutes of your opportunity, okay? Now, in a physical sport like that, you've got only so much, physical stamina, and these guys are athletes, and I've sometimes wondered, well, why don't they play the whole game that way? I mean, if they could play that way in the last 2 minutes and be kicking the crap out of each other, well, why don't they do the whole game that way? I mean, they won't be so frantic at the end. And of course, I say that as an armchair quarterback. I could sit here and have an opinion about these guys who are, the peak of, athleticism, and while I eat my carbohydrates sitting on the couch, I can have an opinion about it. Okay, it's not a valid opinion. It's just an opinion. Good news for you, I suppose, maybe good, maybe bad, is that you don't have to physically wear yourself out to raise the standard to the point where you can behave like it's the last 2 weeks of the year every day, right? And once you set those standards, well, why fall back? Why fall back? Because here's the thing: we've all got hopefully we've all got goals, right? You've all got something that you're here to accomplish. You didn't sign up for a hobby, right? There's lots more entertaining things that you could do if you wanted a hobby. Okay, I don't know. Some of you are probably just thrilled and giggle all night over your coffee cup designs or something. Okay, if you get your, that's really a great thing for you. I hope it is. I hope it is. But some of it's probably mundane, right? So there's more entertaining things that you could do if you just wanted a hobby. But no, you want an enterprise, right? A profitable business. Well, fantastic. Step right up. Okay, but we must behave in that business as if it's a business. I've done a lot of work with people in the network marketing space. So here's an opportunity where somebody can get started for a couple $1,000s or whatever. In some cases less, a few $100s. Same sort of price points, for people like here, right? A few $1,000s, get your feet wet with some course material, get some inventory going. Other forms of e-commerce, by the way, have much more outlay than these methods that you're applying here. But because there's so little buy-in, so little commitment, right? Few hundred, few $1,000s, people, they tend to treat it like a hobby. They take a walk, right? And I've seen people walk from a lot more than that. I've seen people walk from 50 grand plus, right? Now, once you get into the franchise range, hundreds of thousands, now people tend to stick a bit more. Because why? Why is that? Well, I just put 500 grand that I don't have. The bank's money, I just put that on the table. I'm not taking a walk, right? I'm sticking. All right, we'll get this figured out. What if you approached, here's another perspective on it. What if you approached this enterprise as if you had just put the $500,000 on the table? So never mind the price point. You paid a couple dollars to be here. That's fine, whatever. You got a gift. Okay, but mentally, psychologically, you just put a $500,000 on the table. Or whatever the number is that gets you shaken in your pants a little bit. Okay, so pick a number and then treat the business like that. So now it's not a hobby at all. Now it's for real. Now it has to work. All right. We tend to value what we pay for, which again is a blessing and a curse, right? We could even look at the coffee cups. All right. So here's a low ticket item. And you probably got a cabinet full of them already. Right. So if somebody goes and buys your Merry Christmas coffee cup or something, right, and they value it at $20 or whatever, but that same physical item, let's say it was a family heirloom or something, and it was handed down from the 1800s, and it was handmade by the, Geppetto or some Italy, right? And so now, oh my goodness, this is precious, my precious, right? What's the difference? They're both, liquid receptacles, right? Why does this one cost? What did I pay for this? Probably $40, right? Well, it says HD on it, right? HD typically stands for $100. That's what HD stands for. But the idea that I just like the utility of it. It's big, heavy, and it's my favorite color. I'll take any color as long as it's black, right? But the value that we place on stuff typically correlates with what we paid for it monetarily. Now that reminds me of something that Earl Nightingale said. So some of you I've exposed to Earl Nightingale in his classic recording, The Strangest Secret. In fact, all of you going through the accelerator program now, you will meet Earl Nightingale in that specific recording. So keep on trucking. If you're going through the accelerator program, stick close with your accountability rep. They'll make sure you get access to that. But in that recording, he talked about the mind and how people tend to value what they pay for. And people people let their mind run amok, right? They run it into a ditch. They take in all these beliefs that don't even serve them. They're not conscious of their own consciousness. They're just bumbling along through life. And here's this most powerful asset that you could possibly have, your ability to think. Oh my goodness, how profound. But it was standard equipment at birth. You paid nothing for it. Man, running into the ditch. Man. So somebody had a bumper sticker that I recall. It said, it's a shame that ignorance isn't painful. I tend to agree, right? So if the penalty for being undecisive, for just wasting time, for having no purpose, no real goals, for treating your business like a hobby, right? If the penalties for that were something you could experience in like real time in common hours, right? Like and I'm not telling you to chastise yourself, right? Like or those the certain Orthodox monks that would whip themselves, what's it called, the salice or something, right? To beat themselves, the evil thoughts. So I'm not telling you to do that, although I suppose it's a possibility. But you know, if ignorance was painful, if hey, I just wasted a month of my time, wow, and I felt it. Well, you'd probably waste less time. Or I just allowed myself to forget my purpose, to take my eyes off my goals, right? And for an extended period of time. And I'm not telling you not to take breaks and not to go have Christmas dinner and stuff like that. Okay, you got to have some balance in your life. I'm still working on it myself, but you know, if you've been treating your business like a hobby, you know. If you can, get honest with yourself and just look at your own statistics, how much time have I dedicated to income producing activities? You guys remember when we first met, all of you who've been through, like we had a little welcome video that I shot the week that I bought this coffee cup warmer. I shot that video. And one of the things I talked about was my daily method of operation to give you sort of structure. The structure, right? You've already got the theory, the data, right? Here's the how-to information. It's in the course that you just paid for. That's nice. That's great. Rachel's got that handled. Here's some structure, because I'm not so interested in the how-to stuff. You've already got that, and you will as you go through it. I'm more interested in who's doing it. Who's doing it? Someone who will do something of note, get a result, reach a goal perhaps, right? So here's some structure, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things that you could do, here's what I do, is sit there and be quiet. Hooray. Let's shut up for a minute and be quiet and kind of start with a blank slate each day, right? And another thing you could do is, pick up a book. Here's a few that I recommend. Light duty. Nobody's going to get a brain hernia reading this stuff. Okay. But I'll tell you what, the person who doesn't read is no better off than the person who can't read, which is most people, right? So read, right? Study some personal development, right? It's you that we're building up here. We're going to build the business too, but who's doing it? And then go do some exercise or something, right? Jumping jacks, hit the gym, run around the block, do something with you've got a body. I'm assuming if you're hearing and watching this, right? There's a body there. Okay, well, we'll do it, do it. And then the fourth thing, as I recall, was do some high integrity action, do some income producing activity. It may not bear fruit in the next 15 seconds, like because you pulled that lever, money came out or something. Okay, it's not necessarily instant gratification, but it's high integrity action. And I'll tell you what, I feel best when I'm in high integrity action, when I'm doing right and I know I'm doing right. And yes, deferred gratification and all that, but still we're building the empire, and each day a little bit, right? And I know that I did a little bit. I know that I did. When we can acknowledge ourselves and we could say, oh, wow, that's something I got done. Did it make me $1 million yet? No, but it's off my calendar. I don't have to do it anymore. And I overcame what? Inertia, the inaction. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. And I've been that object all too often in my life. Therefore, when I'm able to do high integrity income producing actions, things like that, right, that builds my own validation and self-esteem. I've heard if you want good self-esteem, do esteemable things. But this comes back to the person who's doing it. personal development. Personal development. I would argue that's 90% of the business. And then add whatever methods you're learning. And that's the part that you paid for over there. But you know what? Again and again, I don't say this to self-aggrandize or to boast or anything, but again and again, I've heard from people that, you know what? I was unsure. What they're really saying is they were unsure of themselves. But I was unsure if I could succeed with, the business and the methods and whatever. But it was because of your calls, John, and the books you recommended. Breakthrough. That was the most valuable part of all this for me. Breakthrough. Okay, great. So what evolved? What developed? The data didn't change. The internet e-commerce didn't change. Well, technical nuance here and there changes all the time. Okay, but the methods that you'll be applying are sound methods. What changed was the person. What changed was the expectation. Yes, the expectation of that individual who showed up as, let's say, a hopeful. Oh, I hope this works for me. And then a couple months later, they're in momentum. They've overcome the inertia. They're no longer hopeful. They're no longer, they're no longer an outsider looking in, hoping to succeed or something. No, it's self-evident already. Of course they succeed. Of course they do. That's why they're here. No guesswork or hope, right? Do. No try, as Yoda said. Do. And we pretty much get what we expect. And so that's why, I guess I'll come full circle to this whole thing, this whole idea of raising your standards, raising your expectations of yourself, not so that you're frantic and neurotic and crazy, okay, but to the point where you get more done in less time. This isn't easy, by the way, okay, especially if you're a perfectionist. I get it. Perfection's a really great justifier for procrastination, though, so be really careful with that. They're in the same box, all right? But having overcome the inertia, having relieved yourself of procrastination and indecision and every other rationalization you could throw in there, you can hold your head up high and you could say, look, I got these things done. I've raised my standards. And now because my standards are higher, well, you know what? I'm expecting higher results from the marketplace. James Allen, the great American philosopher, said, in life, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. Again, there's the value of personal development. There's the value of raising your standards, creating a bit of urgency, setting some targets, giving yourself a break from those excuses, right? Well, we'll make excuses later if we feel like it. Right now, I feel like getting results. That's what I feel like doing. I value results better than excuses because some people make money. Some people make excuses and nobody does both. So choose. And you can choose right now who you're going to be, how you're going to show up. And I will tell you that if you perceive that this is, I don't want to say life or death, but you just put the 500 grand on the table, that kind of changes the filters, doesn't it? That kind of changes the filters through which you see this business. If you can manufacture that for yourself, that sort of perspective, and you can, okay, again, it's thought, so it's work. I get it, you got to think. But if you can manufacture that for yourself, well, a whole lot less time to sit around navel gazing, right? Which means just kind of being introverted and wondering, should I, shouldn't I, navel gazing, right? Look it up. But the intent for me telling you all this is that whether you're brand new here one day or you've been here for months and you're waiting for your breakthrough or something, my intention for you is that you cause that breakthrough. It's not going to happen to you. Stuff doesn't happen to us. We make it happen. Or not. Right? There's always next year. We can have this conversation again. 52 weeks from now, we'll have this conversation again.
It's not a conversation.
Yeah, Steve? Oh, I heard Steve. All right, the floor is open. If you guys want to open mics, raise hands, whatever. Steve, you had a comment, sir?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not a conversation, this, is it?
It is. In my mind, I have one all the time. Yeah, I'm always interested to hear what I'm going to say. I never know until it comes out of my mouth. How about you, Scott? You got your hand up. Come on out, brother.
Oops. Yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned one of my superheroes in passing, Gollum. from Lord of the Rings.
Gollum. Oh, my precious.
Well, you did say it. And yet, when you really think about it, Gollum represents the pinnacle of focus on a goal. I mean, he didn't care about whether he was good looking, whether his teeth were falling out. He didn't care about whether he could do it. He couldn't care less whether he was a good hobbit or a bad hobbit or what creature he actually was. He didn't care about anything. His mind was so fixated on that goal of getting that ring back. And that's what made him such a fearsome opponent. In that story, he was, in a sense, he was evil, but he was also a victim. But whatever else he was a completely and utterly focused individual, and he just could not be stopped. No matter what they did, even at the end of the process, when they were going through that area where the mountain was, where the lava was going crazy, it was hot, and he traversed countryside. Nothing could stop him. Even those terrible, those creatures that were attacking people and so forth, the Mordor monsters and so forth.
Right.
And even through the torture, nothing stopped him. That's the sort of mindset that gets things achieved.
Well, yeah, and in that case of that character, which Steve's reminding us that it's fictional. Thank you, Steve. We were vague on that. Now we know that was fiction. But yeah, H.R.R. Tolkien mocked up this creature who was clearly psychotic, possessed by his precious, right? And in fact, exhibited like a dual, talking to himself and all this kind of stuff, which I think Steve will probably accuse me of doing next. But the idea of the drive, right? The single pointed focus, very out of balance. Again, psychotic. Okay, but these were character traits that we could relate to. You obviously could relate to it, Scott. Character trait. I mean, we can only recognize that which is real for us, right? And so, have we at times exhibited that? And again, that's not what I'm suggesting. Okay, you've got to have a bit of flow. There's a big difference between being forceful and crazy versus getting in the flow and being powerful with stuff. So when I talk about raising our standards, it's not to some neurotic or psychotic extreme where you can never take a break or anything like that, and you live for this. Okay, but it is, like Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, a white hot obsession. I love that phrase. Okay, now that's not fiction. Okay, you look at guys like Ford, Wrigley, Schwab, Carnegie, right? These guys, Edison, a white hot obsession. Tom was going to have that light bulb, damn it, one way or another. All right, 10,000 failures, I don't care. Light bulbs, please, right? And then he got it. By the way, how he got it? He sucked the air out of the tube. That's all he had to do. You guys know that when the incandescent light was finally invented, he created a vacuum. It's the only thing that was missing. Oh, well. Now we know. Now we use LEDs. Look at this. This is great. Who else has some thoughts? Thank you, Scott. Glad you're here. Who else has some thoughts on this? Thank you, Steve. Glad you're here. Yeah, we talk philosophy around here. We don't talk like tech or methods or stuff like that. It's our little philosophical reprieve for the day. I see Amber and Ava. There's Deborah, Esna. Good to see. Jamie. Hello, you guys. Karen. Lizeth, anybody else got some thoughts on this? Victoria's here. My goodness, some of my favorite people. Good to see you guys.
John, can I mention one more thing, if I may?
Of course, please be my guest.
You're talking about the game, the basketball game, and how the main goal of that game is basically focused on the end result of that game, getting the points, whatever, scoring the goals by the end of the game. So at the end of the game, you have more than the opponent. I think if you change the goal to a more short-term goal, like what you do in a day, like putting so many mugs on a day, or something that's measurable in a day, and then leave the long-term. You have the long-term goal, that's great, but your white-hot obsession, if nothing else, becomes what you do on that day, and then at the end of the day, you set another white-hot obsession goal for the next day, and then you go from basically exhilaration to exhilaration to exhilaration every day,
right?
Having a little bit of that juice every day, and it really does keep you going, because ultimately it's going to accumulate to that end goal, but you can't see that today, that end goal, because it takes time, but you can see what happens today. that's something you can totally control. And that's where I think your obsession has a place. Not psychotic, obviously, although we do talk about self-talk, but that's a different thing entirely.
What Scott just said, and then we're going to go to Deborah. What Scott just said is hugely important. Control, that one word he just said, control. All right. So I can't control who buys or does not buy the coffee cup on Etsy or whatever. I mean, I can induce that. I can put out good promotion, right? And cause more people to be more likely to do that. But what I can control are my own high integrity actions. So if we set targets based on our own personal doing this, our own personal production, with or without the sales that came in, we're always going to win. We always win because we gave ourselves a command and we followed it. These are things that within our purview of control. Very powerful thing to do. In fact, we've even talked about this, and I'm going to bring Deborah out here. We've talked about having like an integrity list, right? So here's all the things I did right today. Here's all the things I didn't screw up. Look at me, I'm friggin' awesome, right? Anything to bolster your own knowing that you're here to succeed, right? Deborah, your thoughts on this, my friend? Deborah?
I sorry, I lost you completely. My screen went black on a brand new laptop, so I had to come back on this one. But I missed what you're saying when you were talking about what is valuable, what you pay to get started, which is pay for any business. And that's true. You have a monetary value, but you also have a time value. And I think when people see a system like this, they think it's going to be something that's going to bring money that's going to start flowing very quickly. And if it doesn't, they want to know why and why they're not getting in gear to do the right things to get that money flowing completely. And they're forgetting that people such as Rachel, such as Edison, such as people that had great fortune, it didn't happen overnight. And there's a system that you have to get within yourself. My most valuable thing also is time. Time has a double value on you. I have come to the realization that Christmas is going to happen for me next year, but I am determined to make Valentine. I'm determined to make St. Patrick's Day, maybe. And so you have to start planning your own system of how you're going to get there and learn the system well enough so you can walk into it. So that's why I'm using my time, and also to get rid of things, clutter that clutters your life, so that you can do this with ease and be in business like you want to be in business. And I sign off.
Wow. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm moving. So I got nothing but boxes here. As you guys know, my bookshelves are usually full. So getting rid of clutter. Wow, you just hit a nerve with that. So thank you, Deborah. Good times. And that could be mental clutter too, right? What is it that causes us to, second guess ourselves or to hold back, right? Or to hesitate? This is great questions. Steve's got a lot of chats for me today. What is that animal on the table? You know what? I haven't packed it yet. So here you go. Here you go. This is an ironwood sculpture of a rhino from Africa. This is an ironwood sculpture. All of a sudden. Okay. Yes, it is beautiful. Thank you. It remembers me to behave like a rhino, not like a cow. Okay. Yes, rhino. It is beautiful. Thank you. Who's got? Oh, Deborah, I'm like a rhino, not like a cow. Somewhere. Rhino. No, it's not Deborah. Who's got? Oh, Deborah. Jewel, you've got an open mic. You're echoing. Hey, Jewel, do you have a comment? No, it's not Deborah. Jewel, you've got an open mic. You're echoing. Hey, Jewel, do you have a comment?
Hi. How can I fix that echo?
Maybe turn down your
volume. Can you hear me?
Just start talking. Yeah, there's no echo when you're talking.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Maybe turn down your volume. Just start talking. Yeah, there's no echo when you're talking.
Okay. First off, I just apologize for not seeing me because I'm working on that. But anyway, I wanted to say something about like how we place value on how much we pay for things. And it's so true. It is, because if you place value on whatever it is you're placing value on, you have a tendency of putting something valuable back into it. In other words, you're not really expecting what you're going to get out as much as you're expecting what you're going to put in, because you want it to be worth it. You want to say, well, I spent X, Y, and Z, so I better either take care of this car or take care of this business. Otherwise, I'm wasting time and money. And then the other thing that I think that's really important is that a lot of times when we go into business, we try to use other people's model as our model in terms of personal setup. So in other words, what works for Diane or Ron or Scott, we want to model ourselves behind that. And I don't mean in a bad way, because a lot of the models do help us along, but we have to get familiar with what really works for us, like our own individual setup. Like what works for me, maybe I'm an early morning worker and other people work in the afternoon. Like we have to like custom make our own plan of success so that it works for us and not feel like a failure because we're not doing things according to the way someone else is having success. So I think getting to know our work habits and understanding what we value the most and how we can be most effective will really help, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay focused and realize how I work, how I think, and of course take cues on things that I need to improve, like time management and things like that. But I think it's best if we all custom design like our own schema on like how we're gonna outline on how we're gonna do things and how we're gonna get it done. And then that way we get a chance to look at what we value most, look at what we maybe need to add value to, and not have like a cookie cutter idea of, oh, it's supposed to go this way or that way. I think as long as you feel like you're making progress, you're moving in the right direction, you'll hit a few bumps and obstacles, but as long as you stay true to what your end goal is, and you might make adjustments, but just know what works for you.
Mhm.
And that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Thank you. That is so valid for everyone who's especially thinking of it in terms of, like your own. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic, Joel, because of that echo deal. Something's going on with your audio. But let's say that you're in Australia right now. You're starting your day with us. If you're up early, welcome. Good morning. Okay. Oh, but our friends in the UK, right? They're after dinner and they're ending their day with our little group here today. Oh, for us, it's lunchtime, right? So however you go, like some people talk about a morning routine and yet they work nights at the hospital or something. So your morning routine is at 11 p.m. or something. So Ralph Emerson said, imitation is suicide. I tend to agree, right? So find how you work the principles, which is what we talk about here in this group, right? The principles of success. How does that work into your actions, right? Different for everybody, right? So great stuff, Jewel. Great distinctions there. All right. So anybody else before we wrap up for the day? We're coming up on the top of the hour. All right. Look, good time for everyone to maintain consistency throughout the holidays. All right. So just a little reminder there. Where's your standards, right? So regardless of what the calendar says, and then maintain consistency and integrity with that, and then hit 2022 running. No need to wait until the calendar tells you it's 2022. It starts right now. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your feedback and input. Karen will be here with you tomorrow. And in the meantime, make it a great day.